many people, they ask me to break down what's happening in Palestine, right now, especially in Jerusalem, in East Jerusalem. So, okay, I'm going to split this into parts and try to make this as simple as possible for everyone to get it. The Israelis have been illegally occupying East Jerusalem since 1967, okay? It doesn't belong to them. Now, we can talk about the entirety of Palestine, obviously, but let's focus on Jerusalem because this is where Israel wants to evict people from Sheikh Jarrah, okay? So this is a district in East Jerusalem, okay? Take a look. So Israeli courts have decided to evict several families, Palestinian families, from this area in red in East Jerusalem, okay? Why? Because they want Jewish settlers to move in. Literally, it's as simple as it sounds. It's nothing complicated. They want to kick Palestinians out of their homes and let Jewish settlers take their place. Not Jewish people from Palestine. No, Jewish people from who the fuck knows where. They're American, they're European. Yeah, that's what Israel is. It's a bunch of white Jews who come from all over the world to take Palestinians' homes. This is nothing new. What do you think Israel is? Israel has always been stealing Palestinians. Why do you think there are millions of Palestinian refugees in Palestine? Why do you think there are millions more outside Palestine? So because of this, you have had an uptick in protests and clashes. And, again, we say clashes. The media says clashes. Yeah, it's an occupation. I mean, it's like saying, the people resisting Nazi occupation were clashing with the Nazi. No, they're fucking resisting. I mean, what is that? It's that simple. It's a military occupation. It's an illegal occupation. The fucking land don't belong to them. Now, I know I'm cussing a lot. I know I'm swearing a lot. And I'm sorry. I mean, how can you not swear when you look at this crap? So what they've been doing, the Israelis, they've been sending their border police, which have these gray uniforms, right? They've been beating on the Palestinians. We went through this last week and the week before, right? It's been going on for several weeks now. And finally, apparently, today, okay, so on Monday, May 10th, the Israeli Supreme Court was set to rule on Sheikh Jarrah, okay, if they're going to evict these families. So what happened? This from the Times of Israel. Here's what they say. It's been delayed, okay? So the Supreme Court delays a session on Sheikh Jarrah evictions amid Jerusalem violence. So they've postponed it, okay? I don't know if they're going to change their mind necessarily, but they've postponed this hearing. Nonetheless, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything because they'll probably find another way to take the land. I mean, they're always coming up with new ways to annex things, right? Last year, they wanted to annex 30% of the West Bank. Now they want to take Sheikh Jarrah. I mean, it's never ending, right? It's like playing a game of whack-a-mole. You finish with one problem here, then they want to go and annex something else. So anyway, that's been postponed for now. Doesn't mean it's canceled. It's just been postponed. I'm just telling you what's happened, all right? Now, amid this violence, the Israelis, do you know what they did? The Israelis went into Masjid al-Aqsa, which is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, okay? They went into the mosque and started throwing stun grenades in a mosque. Now, I'm not even Muslim. I'm an Arab Christian, and I am fucking fuming seeing that. This is the third holiest site in Islam. Look what they're doing to it. I mean, this is fucking outrageous. I mean, they really have no shame, these people. They have 0, minus 100 goddamn shame. Look at this. These are Israeli border police, all right? He's outside the mosque. We're talking about the middle of Ramadan. People are praying. Okay, this is the holy month of Ramadan. I mean, this is unconscionable. Seriously. So as a result of that, this is 2 days ago. As a result of that, you had 90 Palestinians injured inside of the mosque. I think 200 total that day. And look, here's some more pictures of this. My goodness. What is that? Honestly, who does that? What kind of barbarians do that? Here's more footage. So, I mean, this is, I don't even know what to tell you, man. I don't even know what to tell you. It's just disgusting. Here, Noor Ode says on Twitter, a journalist speaking out from inside the Aqsa clinic to Al Jazeera. There is no one to provide care for the injured. I told the soldier I'm a journalist doing my job. He fired a rubber-coated bullet at my leg. We are pleading for help. I mean, the stones on these people. Seriously. Oh, you're a journalist? Yeah. I'm laughing, but I mean, this makes you cry, right? He's lucky he got a rubber bullet. Israel regularly snipes journalists, kills them with bullets, real bullets, not rubber ones. That's nothing, right? Compared to all the medics, all the nurses, all the doctors, all the journalists, the activists that they've killed over the years. Not even just Palestinian, even Americans, even British. They'll shoot you. You think it's a game? They will kill you for photographing what they're doing to Palestinians. So these people have entered the third holiest site in Islam, and they're behaving like fucking barbarians. I mean, they have no limits. They really have no shame. So this is what the Palestinians have arranged tear gas canisters and stun grenades fired at them by Israeli forces into the shape of the Dome of the Rock, right? So Masjid al-Aqsa. And the words, quote, "you will not pass," unquote, directed at settlers planning a provocative demonstration to celebrate Israelis' seizure of East Jerusalem in 1967. So do you know what the Israelis have been celebrating today? They've been celebrating Jerusalem Day. Now, this is not to be confused with the Quds Day, okay? So in Arabic, Jerusalem is Quds or Qudus, okay? And the Iranians, when they had the revolution in 1979, the Islamic Revolution, they created a celebration, which is known as Qudus Day, which also means Jerusalem Day, but it's not the same thing. The Iranian Qudus Day is meant to celebrate, meant to show solidarity, express solidarity with the Palestinians, to show that, okay, we stand with you, we're going to liberate Jerusalem with you, for you. The Israelis, their Jerusalem Day is celebrating the invasion in 1967. The illegal invasion and annexation, not just invasion, they full-blown annexed East Jerusalem, just like they annexed the Syrian Golan Heights. And again, just to give you an idea how illegal this is, even the United States was like, yo, you can't do that. So you had multiple United Nations Security Council resolutions. I can't even keep up with the goddamn numbers, man. 242 is the first one. Calling on Israel to withdraw from the occupied Golan Heights, from East Jerusalem, West Bank, Gaza, Sinai Peninsula. Then they had also UN Security Council Resolution 478, which was after they annexed East Jerusalem. This is in 1980. There's so many of them. I was just reporting on them last week on my show. I can't even count them, man. And they don't care, right? So the Israelis, they're celebrating their illegal invasion of East Jerusalem and the annexation. And what does that entail? It entails this kind of nonsense, what I just showed you. That is what they're celebrating. Their illegal occupation, their invasion. Ethnically cleansing Palestine, kicking people out of East Jerusalem. And again, you really need to understand, this is not new. This is not unique. This is not unique at all. What's happening in East Jerusalem, what's happening in Sheikh Jarrah, okay? This is the norm. This is the norm. That's how Israel was built. It's not me saying that. It's the Israelis. Right? I played you that video of those settlers telling you that, yeah, our institutions, even the state of Israel, has been built at the expense of the Arabs who lived here. They have no shame. They don't care. They'll straight up just tell you that. Right? So, I just to further illustrate how disgusting this is, you had, I think it was a tree, you had something outside the mosque, in the compound, okay, in the courtyard, if you will, burning a few hours ago. And there was fire emanating from the mosque's compound. Just look at the reaction from these Israelis celebrating their Jerusalem Day. Just take a look. I'm gonna mute the music for copyright shit, but I mean, look, the mosque compound is on fire and they're celebrating. I mean, what the fuck? Could you imagine Muslims like dancing while a synagogue was burning or something? Like, we'd never hear the end of it, and that would be disgusting. But they just do this. I mean, what is that? Like, they do realize we all have the same God, right? Apparently not. So, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I'm just disgusted beyond belief. And on top of that, what happened today, Israel went and bombed Gaza. They went and bombed Gaza, the Gaza Strip. So the Gaza Strip has been under siege since 2007. So not just by Israel, but by Egypt as well. And in response to everything that I just showed you, in response to what's happening in Jerusalem, Hamas fired a few rockets at Israel, right? And so in response to the rockets, the Israelis, they went and bombed Gaza. And what happened? They killed 20 Palestinians. 9 of them were children. Right? 9 children killed. So this is from The Guardian. Israel launches airstrikes on Gaza Strip after Hamas rocket attacks. All right. Gaza Health Ministry says 20 Palestinians were killed and were killed in Israeli strikes after Palestinian groups fired rockets into Israel. Horrible. Here's some of the footage.
خد ساتر ننزل ولا
Right, so they killed 9 children in that video that I just showed you. They killed 9 children. You think Israel's ever going to be sanctioned? Do you know how densely populated Gaza is? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's one of the most densely populated places on the face of the planet. Right? It's under siege. Israel controls what materials they can bring in, what supplies they can bring in. It's completely, isolated from the whole planet by Israel. And of course, Egypt is also has a blockade imposed on them. I mean, this is disgusting. And this is not new. Once again, for people who don't understand the so-called conflict, it's not a conflict. This is an occupation. This is a military occupation, an apartheid occupation. Okay? This is not new. Israel is bombing Gaza every week with American weapons. Those are American bombs. And not just Israel buying the bombs. No, they're given the bombs. They are given the bombs for free. Israel is the biggest recipient of military aid from the Americans since World War II, okay, in total, cumulatively. So, America gives these bombs to Israel. They even gave them 500. Well, yeah, it was 500 million. Excuse me, 50 million. Just in December, if I'm not mistaken, during the package when you got $600 stimulus check, right? The December relief package, you know, corporate robbery, again, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's disgusting, right? Every year they get 3.8 billion. That's since Obama. So when Obama is in office in 2016, what does he do? He signs this 10-year aid package. So over 10 years, $38 billion. Every year, 3.8 billion. It's still in effect, right? So here's what your favorite candidate for mayor of New York City says, right? Here's what Andrew Yang says. Andrew Yang says, I'm standing with the people of Israel who are coming under bombardment attacks and condemn the Hamas terrorists. The people of New York City will always stand with our brothers and sisters in Israel who face down terrorism and persevere. Yeah, okay. You know, I think that bombing one of the most densely populated places on the face of the planet is terrorism. I think throwing stun grenades inside of a mosque during Ramadan, inside of Masjid al-Aqsa, no less, I think that's terrorism. Yeah? Piece of shit. Look at this. Also, look at the way the news report this, honestly. So I just showed you what happened in Gaza. Look at what DW News say in their headline. Palestinian health officials in the Gaza Strip say 20 people, including 9 children, have been killed in fighting with Israel. No, they weren't fighting with Israel, you motherfucker. They were killed in their fucking homes, you piece of shit. Fighting with Israel? They make it sound like the kids were out in the street with anti-aircraft batteries. They weren't fighting. Yo, in Operation Protective Edge, during the ground invasion, when Israel invaded Gaza the last time, right? 65% of casualties were civilians. 65%. The majority of them died in their homes. The fucking floor beneath them just sucked them into the ground. Look, I mean, this is disgusting. Do you understand now how you don't just have the United Kingdom? Of course, the United Kingdom created this fucking cancer, Israel. You don't just have the United Kingdom and the United States and France and the entire might of the Western world behind Israel. No, you have the media as well. The media protect them, right? So here's Ned Price, who's the spokesperson for the State Department, reacting to what just happened. And I wanna play this clip to you, and here's what Ilhan Omar said about him. Ilhan Omar said, this unsurprising response is devoid of empathy and concern for human suffering. He can't even condemn the killing of children. Let's take a look.
Principle of self-defense.
I'm asking if you think that the principle of self-defense applies to the retaliatory, the airstrikes that they're conducting in response.
Matt, this is a very fluid situation. I would hesitate to comment on operations beyond, the rocket fire that is clearly targeting innocent civilians in Israel. So I would hesitate to speak to specific operations that have just occurred. But the broader principle of self-defense is something we stand by on behalf of Israel and every other country.
Do you think that an Israeli military response to the rockets coming in, a military response to the rockets coming in is covered by this broader rubric of self-defense, right?
Self-defense often does authorize the use of force.
Thank you, Matt. I want to ask you about East Jerusalem, but let's talk about what you said about the principle of self-defense. Does that in any way apply to the Palestinians? Do they have a right to self-defense? Do Palestinians have a right to self-defense?
Broadly speaking, Saeed, we believe in the concept of self-defense. We believe it applies to any state. I don't think that I certainly wouldn't want my words to be construed as.
I understand. I want to ask you on Israel. I don't want to harp on this either, but the Israelis killed 13 people just now, including maybe 5 or 6 children. Do you condemn that? Do you condemn the killing of children?
Saeed,
I'm asking, do you condemn the killing of Palestinian children?
Obviously, and these reports are just emerging, and I understand, I was just speaking to the team, I understand we don't have independent confirmation of facts on the ground yet, so I'm very hesitant to get into reports that are just emerging. Obviously, the deaths of civilians, be they Israeli or Palestinians, are something we would take very seriously.
Okay.
You're going to know as soon as I read what your answer was that there's a big problem with it. You said, well, not a problem, it just doesn't answer the question. We believe that it, meaning the right to self-defense, applies to any state. Well, you see the problem, right? Yes?
Do you want to?
Do you regard Palestine as a state?
I wasn't
Do you
referring.
think that, you
But
don't in the context of the ICC and the UN. So are you
and-
saying that you do not, if it applies to any state, are you saying that Palestinians don't have a right to self-defense?
I was making a broader point, not attached to Israel or the Palestinians in that case.
So they do have a right to self-defense.
Matt, I'm not.
don't know.
I'm
It's not that
I'm not in a
difficult a
position to debate the legalities
right.
from up here. What our message is one of de-escalation.
All right.
You coward! You fucking coward! Look at that goddamn snake! This fucking worm standing there. Saying he said that on purpose because he doesn't regard Palestine as a state. And he thinks that Israelis have a right to self-defense. Palestinians don't have a right to self-defense. They're not human beings. What is that? They always tell you, oh, the rockets. What happened before that? What about the 73 years of occupation? You don't want to talk about that? What the fuck do you think happens when you kick millions of Palestinians out of their homes? They're just supposed to take that? They're supposed to accept that? Palestinians are supposed to accept you walking into the third holiest site in Islam and trashing their mosque during Ramadan? Do you have no fucking shame? Where does it end with these people? Where does it end? Where's the limit? This is unbelievable. He's asking him, there are children that died. Do you condemn the killing of Palestinian children? He won't even condemn that. Look at this inhumanity. These people are fucking sick, man. They're sick. Look how goddamn corrupt they are. I can't even tell if he's a spokesperson for the US or Israel. Which country does he fucking work for? Unbelievable. You think for 1 second he would have hesitated to condemn if Hamas or any Palestinian had killed an Israeli? Just one Israeli. Not even, never mind a child. He would not hesitate. Immediately he'd condemn it. You have almost a dozen Palestinian kids dead, and he can't even say a thing about that. Bought, corrupt, piece of shit coward. All of them. It's not just Ned Price. All of them. Unbelievable. These people don't care about human rights, man. They don't care about international law. This is all a joke. They do not care about any of that. There's no rules-based order. That's bullshit. They don't believe in that. That's just a cookie to shut you up. There's two sets of rules. Do you understand here? There's two sets of rules on the ground in Palestine. There's two sets of rules internationally, right? They do what they want. When they send nuclear bombers, it's deterrence. If you fight back, you're a terrorist, right? If they come and occupy your land, oh, that's their sovereignty, right? You have to respect their human rights. But when they kill Palestinians, oh, and Palestinians fight back, they're terrorists, right? They won't even condemn children being killed. I mean, this is unbelievable. Oh my God, I cannot with these motherfuckers, man, really. This is nothing new. You need to understand this is nothing new. This has been the norm for 73 years. All right? 73 years, Palestinians have been going through that shit. This is why they kill journalists. This is why they kill medics and doctors. This is why they don't want anyone exposing what they're doing, right? This is why they have an Israeli lobby. This is why they go and smear and they character assassinate and they attack people who expose their fucking bullshit. Israel is not a country. Israel is a military occupation. They are illegally in Palestine, all of Palestine. But even in this case, in East Jerusalem, Even in the fucking UN partition plan, which is already giving Palestinians 50% of their country, 50% less, right? Palestinians should have nothing less than 100% of Palestine. And even then, in the partition plan, East Jerusalem belongs to Palestinians. And now you have Israelis in East Jerusalem deciding with their fake courts that Palestinian families should be kicked out so Israeli settlers can come and live in their place. In East Jerusalem, which does not belong to them. Even the United States agrees with that. I mean, this is unreal. These people are nothing but fucking thugs and murderers. That's all they are. They want you to believe that Palestinians who have rocks and pebbles and these shitty rockets are a threat when they have nuclear weapons, nuclear fucking weapons. They have chemical weapons, white phosphorus that they use on Palestinians. They have American-made jets. They have tanks. They have state-of-the-art technology. There isn't one country in the Levant that Israel has not attacked or invaded. And they want you to think that they are the victims. The Israelis are the victims. Always, 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 every single fucking time, Israel is the victim. Every single time. Israel has the right to self-defense. Israel has, Israelis have human rights. Israelis have the right to a state, to sovereignty, and fuck Palestinians. For 73 years. For as long as they want. I say fuck you. Fuck Israel. Anyone who wants to come along and say that these are, they're just clashes and like it's a level playing field. No, it's not, man. No, it's not. It's not a level playing field. Palestinians are resisting. It's a resistance movement. They're fighting for their country, for their homeland, for liberation. They want to live in their homes. They want to be treated with respect, with dignity. White, European, American, I don't know what the hell, wherever they come from, Jewish settlers who are not indigenous to Palestine. These people are colonizers. They are colonizing Palestine. And this is what it's about. They want to kick Palestinians out of Sheikh Jarrah, which is what they do all over Palestine. And on top of it, they're intimidating people who protest, right? They're sending a message like, if you protest, we will come inside your mosque. We will come inside the mosque even and throw stun grenades at you during Ramadan. No respect. No respect. Well, it's quite redundant. It's quite redundant at this point. I mean, like, how many videos do we have to do explaining that Israel is a shit entity? How many videos do we have to do explaining that Palestinians are being slaughtered? How many? Like, what is the number until some shit changes, right? How many decades is this gonna continue? All the Arabs couldn't stop it. Who will? All right. Again, that's the greatest trick that the West has ever played. What did they do? They came and they put this fucking cancer called Israel right in the motherfucking middle of the Arab world. Literally, just look at the map geographically, right? What do Arabs have in common? They have a common geography, a common history, a common culture, a common religion, a common language, right? And what do the British and the French do just before they leave? They come and they put this fucking cancer called Israel right in the middle, right? As if carving up the Middle East after World War I wasn't enough, right? No. It's not enough. All these mandates, these colonies, les protectorats. No. They're not leaving. They're leaving a little present behind called Israel. And so here we are. Yes? Here we are. It's 2021. What has changed? Nothing has changed. As a matter of fact, they feel more and more emboldened. So, fuck these bastards. All right? There's no room for diplomacy. There's no room for fucking, mincing words here. They don't mince words. They don't mince words when they drop bombs. They don't hesitate.